Beamy, 26 years old, working as a junior graphic designer in Chicago, living in a studio apartment that costs way too much for the square footage. Life is a repetitive cycle of waking up, staring at screens, drinking lukewarm coffee, and sleeping. It is late December. The city is covered in a thick blanket of gray slush and ice. Holiday season is in full swing, but the spirit is lacking this year. Supposed to fly back to my hometown in Ohio for a week to see my parents. Pack my bag with the essentials. Head to O'Hare Airport 3 hours early because anxiety is my constant companion. The terminal is absolute chaos. People are running around like headless chickens, screaming children everywhere. The display boards are flashing red with delays. Winter storm advisory just upgraded to a severe blizzard warning. Find a seat near the gate and plug in my headphones. Try to drown out the noise with a podcast about history. 2 hours pass and the snow outside the floor-to-ceiling windows is falling horizontally. Visibility is zero. The intercom crackles to life. Gate agent announces that all flights are grounded until morning. Collective groan from 300 people echoes through the hall. People rush the desk to rebook. I just sit there and rub my temples, pull up hotel apps on my phone. Everything within a 10-mile radius is booked solid or charging $500 a night. Resign myself to sleeping on the airport floor. Decide to head to the airport bar to kill time and numbness the frustration. Bar is packed shoulder to shoulder. Manage to squeeze into the last empty stool at the far end. Order a whiskey neat because I need the burn. Man sitting next to me looks over. He is an older male, maybe late 50s or early 60s, wearing a nice wool coat and a scarf. Has a kind face, salt and pepper beard, looks like a professor or a retired architect. He raises his glass to me. Looks at me with tired eyes. Says looks like we are stuck here for the long haul. I nod and clink my glass against his. Tell him my name is Julian. He introduces himself as Elias. We start talking to pass the time. Elias is surprisingly easy to talk to. He has a calm demeanor that cuts through the stress of the airport. Tells me he was flying out to visit his sister in Denver, but that is obviously not happening. Asks me about my work. I complain a bit about clients who want logos to pop more. He laughs and tells me he works in landscape architecture. We bond over the struggle of creative work and demanding customers. 2 hours fly by. We have consumed a few rounds of drinks. The bar is closing and security is starting to herd people out toward the sleeping areas. Elias looks at his phone and sighs. Says he lives about 40 minutes from the airport in a suburb. He says it is silly for him to sleep on a floor when he has a warm bed nearby. He looks at me. Says, Julian, you seem like a decent young man. Says he would hate to leave me here on the linoleum. Offers me a ride to his place and the guest room for the night. Says he can drop me back at the airport in the morning since he has to come back to rebook anyway. Normally, I would never accept a ride from a stranger. Too many horror stories, but I am exhausted, slightly tipsy, and desperate for a pillow. My gut tells me this guy is harmless. He reminds me of my own uncle. I hesitate for a second. Look at the crowd of angry travelers fighting for bench space. Look back at Elias, who is waiting patiently. I say yes, thank him profusely. We brave the cold and find his car in the long-term parking garage. It is a clean, comfortable sedan. The drive is slow because of the snow. Wipers are working overtime. Heater is blasting warm air and it feels like heaven. We talk more about life during the drive. He asks if I have anyone waiting for me in Ohio. I tell him just my parents. He asks if there is a special lady in my life. I look out the window at the passing streetlights. Tell him not anymore. Tell him I had a bad breakup about 2 years ago and have not really put myself out there since. He nods understandingly. Says heartbreak is a heavy thing to carry. Says he has been married for 30 years, but it was not always easy. Says relationships take work and sometimes timing is just the enemy. We pull into a quiet, upscale suburban neighborhood. Houses are large and set back from the street. Snow covers the lawns and pine trees pull into his driveway. The house is a beautiful two-story brick colonial, looks warm and inviting with the porch light on. We get inside and stamp the snow off our boots. Interior is cozy. Hardwood floors, oriental rugs smell of cedar and old books. Elias tells me to make myself at home, says he is going to find some extra blankets. I stand in the entryway feeling a bit awkward but grateful. He comes back with a duvet and a pillow, leads me to the living room, says the guest room is actually being painted right now so the couch is the best option. Apologizes for the downgrade. I tell him, "Are you kidding me? This couch looks better than my bed at home. It is a massive leather sectional." He laughs and goes to the kitchen, brings me a glass of water, says help yourself to anything in the fridge. Says he is going to head upstairs to bed, tells me to sleep well and he will wake me up around 7. I thank him again, he heads upstairs, hear his footsteps fade away. House is silent except for the wind howling outside. Strip off my jeans and sweater, crawl under the duvet. It is incredibly comfortable, stare at the ceiling shadows. Mind starts wandering to what Elias said in the car about heartbreak and timing, start thinking about Sienna. She was the girl I broke up with 2 years ago. We met in college during our senior year. She was studying art history. I was in graphic design. We collided in the library one rainy afternoon. Classic movie moment. She had hair like spun gold and eyes that changed color depending on the light. We were inseparable for 3 years. Moved in together after graduation, thought she was the one I would marry, but life got in the way. I got a job that demanded 60 hours a week. She struggled to find work in her field. She wanted to travel and see the world. I wanted to save money and buy a house. Resentment started to build. Small fights turned into days of silence. One night we had a huge argument about the future. I said something regretful about her needing to be realistic. She said I had lost my spark and become a corporate drone. We broke up the next morning. She moved out while I was at work. I came home to half-empty closets and a note on the counter. Have not seen her since. Blocked each other on social media to heal. Still think about her every time it rains. Shake my head to clear the thoughts, need to sleep, close my eyes and drift off, wake up a few hours later, throat is parched, room is dark but the moonlight is reflecting off the snow outside. Illuminates the living room in a pale blue glow. Sit up and rub my eyes, need water, get up and walk quietly toward the kitchen. Passing the fireplace mantel on the way, notice there are several framed photos lined up. Usually I would not snoop, but something catches my eye. A graduation cap and gown, stop and lean in closer, squinting in the low light, pick up the frame to get a better look. Heart stops beating for a solid second. It is a photo of a young female in a graduation gown holding a diploma. Smiling that wide, infectious smile that used to make my knees weak. It is Sienna. I blink rapidly thinking I am dreaming. Rub my eyes again. Look at the photo closer. There is no mistake. That is the small scar on her chin from when she fell off a bike as a kid. That is the necklace I bought her for our first anniversary wearing around her neck. My hands start shaking. Put the photo down and look at the next one, family portrait. Elias is standing there with his arm around a woman who looks like an older version of Sienna, and Sienna is standing next to them, looking happy, looking beautiful. Panic starts to rise in my chest like bile. I am in my ex-girlfriend's father's house. The man who picked me up at the airport is Sienna's dad, Elias. Memory unlocks. I remember Sienna talking about her dad. She called him Eli. Said he was a landscape architect. Said he was the kindest man she knew. I never met her parents. They lived in the suburbs and we were in the city. Every time we planned to visit, something came up. Sickness or work or bad weather. I talked to them on the phone once or twice but never put a face to the name. Wholly unexpected plot twist. Put the photo back on the mantel exactly how I found it. Back away slowly. Forget the water. Go back to the couch and sit there in the dark. Mind is racing at 1,000,000 miles an hour. What are the odds, in a city of millions of people, in a blizzard, I end up in this specific car with this specific man? This feels like some sort of cosmic joke. Start sweating despite the cold room. What do I do? Do I leave right now, sneak out into the blizzard and walk to the highway, die of hypothermia but save my dignity? Or do I stay and pretend I do not know, wait for morning and get the ride back to the airport, pray that Sienna is not here, she lives in the city or maybe she moved? Elias said his daughter was visiting family in Denver. Wait, no. He said he was visiting his sister in Denver. He never said where his daughter was. Terror intensifies. Check the time on my phone. It is 4 in the morning. Impossible to leave now. Curl up under the blanket and try to calm down. Tell myself it is fine, just get through the morning coffee, keep my mouth shut, get to the airport, never see Elias again, lie there awake for hours staring at the ceiling. Sun starts to come up around 7, hear movement upstairs. Shower running, footsteps coming down the stairs, pretend to be asleep. Elias walks into the living room, smell of fresh coffee brewing fills the air. He gently shakes my shoulder, says, "Morning, Julian, hope you slept well." I sit up and rub my face acting groggy. Say, "Yeah, slept great, thank you so much." Try to avoid making eye contact with the mantelpiece. He is cheerful, says roads are getting plowed but it is still messy. Says he is making pancakes. Insists I eat before we go. I try to decline saying I should not impose. He waves me off. Says, "Nonsense, you are a guest." Follow him into the kitchen. Kitchen is bright and sunny now. Large island with marble countertops. Sit on a bar stool while he flips pancakes. He asks me how I slept. I say the couch was amazing. He asks if I need anything. I say no, I am good. My eyes keep darting to the hallway leading to the front door. Calculating my escape route. Just need to eat one pancake and then say I got an alert about my flight. Elias puts a plate in front of me. Pancakes look delicious, but my stomach is in knots. Pour syrup slowly, take a bite. It tastes like sawdust because my mouth is so dry. Elias pours himself a coffee and leans against the counter. Says, "So Julian, I was thinking about what you said last night, about the girl, the one that got away." I freeze mid-chew. Force myself to swallow, say, "Yeah, what about it?" He says, "Well, life is short." Says, "If you still have feelings, maybe you should reach out." Says, "Pride is a useless emotion when you are lonely." I look at him. He has this knowing look in his eyes. Does he know? Did he recognize me from photos? Sienna must have shown him pictures of me when we were dating, but that was 2 years ago, and I have grown a beard since then, and my hair is shorter. Maybe he just thinks I am a random guy. I say I do not think she would want to hear from me. Say things ended pretty badly. He nods, says forgiveness is a powerful thing. Suddenly the front door opens. Gust of cold air rushes in. Hear stamping of boots. Female voice calls out. Says, "Dad, are you up? I brought pastries." Blood runs cold, freeze completely. Know that voice anywhere. It is Sienna. Elias smiles, says, "In the kitchen, honey, we have a guest." Footsteps approach the kitchen. I cannot move, staring at my half-eaten pancake. Sienna walks in, wearing a thick winter coat and a beanie. Cheeks are flushed red from the cold, holding a white paper box. She stops dead in her tracks when she sees me. Box drops from her hand onto the floor, pastries spill out. Silence in the room is deafening. Elias looks between us. Sienna's eyes are wide as saucers. She whispers, "Julian." I slowly turn on the stool to face her. Say, "Hi, Sienna." Voice cracks. Elias looks confused for a moment, then realization dawns on his face. He looks at me, then at her. Says, "Wait a minute." Says, "Is this him? Is this the Julian?" Sienna is still in shock. She takes off her beanie and her hair falls down, still spun gold, still beautiful. She says, "What are you doing here? Why are you in my parents' house eating pancakes?" I stand up, hands raised in surrender. Say it is a long story. Say your dad saved me from the airport. I did not know. I swear I did not know. Sienna looks at her dad. Elias starts laughing, a deep belly laugh. He slaps the counter, says, "You have got to be kidding me." Says of all the people in the airport, I pick him up. Sienna is not laughing yet. She looks overwhelmed. She picks up the pastry box, says I need to sit down. She sits on the stool next to me, takes off her coat. We are sitting side by side for the first time in 2 years. Smell her perfume, vanilla and sandalwood. Memories come flooding back stronger than before. Elias clears his throat, says, well, this is interesting. Says I am going to go shovel the driveway, give you 2 a minute. He grabs his coat and heads out the back door, leaving us alone in the kitchen. Silence stretches out, clock on the wall is ticking loudly. Sienna looks at me. Her expression softens, says you look different. I say you look the same, say you look great. She half smiles, says so my dad kidnapped you. I chuckle, say basically, say he is a nice guy. She says yeah, he is. She traces the pattern on the marble counter with her finger. Says I heard you moved uptown. I say yeah, closer to work. Say I heard you went to Europe for a while. She nods, says I did. Says it was amazing but I missed Chicago. Says I missed the winters, believe it or not. We both look out the window at the snow. Awkwardness starts to fade a little, replaced by a heavy melancholy. I say listen Sienna, say about how things ended. Say I am sorry. Say I was an idiot and I was stressed and I took it out on you. She looks at me. Eyes are watery. Says we were both idiots, Julian. Says we were young and trying to figure out who we were. Says I do not blame you anymore. Felt like a weight lifted off my chest. Massive weight. I say I missed you. Say I missed my best friend. She reaches out and touches my hand. Electric shock goes up my arm. Says I missed you too. Says dating out there is a nightmare. We laugh, tension breaks. We spend the next hour talking, catching up on 2 years of life. She tells me she is working at a gallery now, tells me she finally learned how to cook. I tell her I got a promotion and actually enjoy my job now. Tell her I started painting again on weekends. She smiles, says I am glad, says you were always happier when you were creating. Elias comes back inside. Stomping snow off his boots, looks at us, sees us smiling, sees her hand near mine. He grins, says driveway is clear. Says whenever you are ready, Julian, I can take you to the airport or you can stay for lunch. I look at Sienna. She looks at me, there is a question in her eyes, possibility. I look at Elias. Say actually if it is okay, I think I will skip the flight. Say I can take a train back to the city later. Elias beams, says sounds like a plan. Says I will make some more coffee. Sienna smiles, real genuine smile. She says so you are staying? I say yeah. Say I think the universe is trying to tell me something. She says maybe it is. We sit there in the warm kitchen. Snow falling outside, smell of coffee and pancakes, feeling of hope, not saying we are back together instantly, but the door is open and that is enough. Sometimes you have to get lost to find where you are supposed to be. Sometimes you have to crash on a stranger's couch to wake up at home. Thank you 4chan for listening. Going to go help her dad shovel the walk now. Life is weird, life is good, be me happy.